You're probably watching this video because somebody invited you to the workshop on biblical exposition, which raises the question, what is a workshop on biblical exposition? To answer that question, I want to tell you how it began. 25 years ago, 8 pastors gathered in a room with one goal: to sharpen each other as biblical expositors. So they would study a passage, they would discuss it, and they would talk about how what they were seeing would shape how they would preach it. Well, those 8 men left their time together so excited about what they had done and so sharpened in their work that they decided they would do it again the next year and invite other pastors. Same thing happened year by year, and the workshop grew and grew till that one workshop was regularly having over 100 pastors from all across North America. Now, just 25 years later, there's over 50 workshops taking place all around the world. The one here in Toronto has been going on for close to a decade. There are 3 basic components of the workshop. The first is preaching. During the course of the workshop, you'll hear 3 sermons from fellow pastors who are preaching God's Word to us. The second component is principles. That is, going back to some basic principles that should inform how we preach God's Word. We found through the years of the workshops that these principles, for some men, are eye-opening and open up the whole world of biblical exposition. For others of us, it's like spring training. We're going back to basic principles and being reminded of them, and we leave more eager to do the work and to do it better. The third component, and this is what makes our workshops distinct, is small group practice. About half the time in the workshops is spent in small groups with 6 to 10 other men who are laboring at preaching God's Word. You'll be asked to prepare and present on 2 different passages. You'll show people what you found in those passages and talk about how that would shape how you would preach the passage. Now, most of us pastors aren't used to that kind of peer review. When was the last time you sat down with a fellow pastor and asked them to critique and explore what you were seeing in the passage and how that was shaping your sermon? But it's such important work because it helps us grow as preachers, and it helps us in the vital task of preaching God's Word faithfully to our people. So who should come to a workshop on biblical exposition? The workshops are designed for men who are in full-time Word ministry. Now, occasionally someone will come who is training for pastoral ministry or is about to go into full-time Word ministry, and we'll allow those men to come. But it's really designed for men who are doing the work of the ministry, to work together with other men who are doing the work of the ministry so that we can sharpen one another. Last year, we had over 50 men at our workshop. They came from all across Ontario down into New York. We had men spanning the denominational spectrum from a variety of different roles, but we are all united in this: a passion to see God's Word faithfully preached to God's people. So what are the details for this year's workshop? The workshop will be May 4th through 6th at Maple Avenue Baptist Church in Georgetown. That's just outside of Toronto, off the 401 at the Winston Churchill exit. We'll be studying the Gospel of Mark. To register or for more information, use the link in the description below. I hope to see you there.